All right, I want to tell you a story about the most miserable winter of my entire life. It actually happened 2 years ago in Finland. So I got selected to go to this course through the Marine Corps, and it was a mountain warfare, kind of like a survival SEER course, I guess you would say, in Finland. And it was run by the Finnish. So they selected 5 Marines. It was 4 NCOs and 1 officer. So you had to be an NCO and you had to have some kind of mountain warfare training in your background. So I went to Bridgeport 2 winters before that and became a scout skier. So I learned how to ski with a ruck on my back and shoot from skis, survive in the winter, but it was all basic. So when we got to Finland, we met these guys at the airport. They took us to a hotel, and then the next day we drove up north. So we landed in Helsinki, which is the capital of Finland, and we drove like 150 clicks north, which put us well above the Arctic Circle. And so it was cold. I think the temperature was like negative 40 degrees Celsius, which is almost equivalent to negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So it was cold. And with the wind chill, I can only imagine. So we get there, and the next day we get assigned our gear. So they give us some winter equipment, and then we go into a classroom setting and they explain the course. So the first couple days we're just getting familiar and acclimatized to the environment, which I don't think happened. So I think on the third day we were there, we were told that we were going to ski into a frozen river with it being negative 30 some degrees outside. So I didn't believe him. I wanted to see it, and I actually did. Somebody actually did it, so we had to. So the first time we swam into this river, you had to stand at the top of this hill, ski into a hole cut in the ice, and then whenever you get out, you run to the top of the hill and you strip your clothes off and start drying and putting on dry, warm clothes. So we did that, and then the next day the course actually kicked off. We went out into the woods. They taught us how to survive. They actually showed us so many awesome things. It was miserable, probably the most miserable winter of my life, but I learned a lot, and it was really cool to look back at. So we actually had to kill a deer and cook it over a fire because we were so hungry, and it was part of the survival course. They taught us how to set up ambushes in the winter and do all kinds of nifty little things. But at the end of the course, I mean, we had lived outside for 2 weeks, and it was negative 40, negative 30 average, and you could not sleep. I mean, you sleep for like an hour and you start freezing. There's no tents. I mean, you just keep moving. That's what we did. We just kept moving. So by the end of the course, you're like sleep deprived, malnourished, dehydrated, ready to die. I mean, you're so tired, you're hallucinating, and you just got to keep going. So we had to get to the end of this course. And the whole time you're being pursued by the instructors. So you're out in a squad-sized element being chased by the instructors, and you got to avoid them or else it just gets more miserable. But anyways, we get to the end of the course, and they tell us that we're going to ski into this hole again. And I can't believe it. I mean, we already did it. It was negative who knows what outside. But I mean, you get out and you start turning to a freaking icicle. So they tell us to do it again. But this time it's going to be a little different. They said that you have to ski into this hole. When you get out, you have to build your own fire before you can get out of your wet clothes. And that was horrible. So I skied into the hole. When I got out, I was trying to light a fire, and they actually let us use matches this time. Usually it was flint and rod or flint and steel, but this time you could use a match, but you could hardly do it because your fingers were so frozen that every time you tried to strike a match, it would break. You had no dexterity in your fingertips. But I did it and finished the course. It was pretty cool, and you won't even believe this, but it actually really happened too. So we finished the course. We're all tired, ready to go back to we got a cabin. They put us up in a cabin. It slept like 20 dudes, and well, we're driving back on a bus, and one of the kids looks out the window and sees smoke, and he's like, "What the heck?" So he says something, and then the Finnish guys are talking in whatever language that we don't understand what they're saying, but come to find out, it's our cabin on fire, burning all of like, we lost everything. So we had been living outside for 2 weeks, and everything we owned that we took to Finland was burnt. So me and the 4 other Marines, we had nothing. We had no way to get to our cash. Our wallets got burned, our passports got burned, everything got burned in this cabin. On the last day, too. Like, we were leaving the woods. It was messed up. But anyways, so we had no clothes. I mean, we were wearing their camouflage. So they had to take us to the store and buy us clothes because we had no money. We had, I mean, no contact to any other Americans. So I guess they bought us clothes and they snuck us onto a plane, got us to the embassy, which was back at Helsinki, the capital of Finland. So they got us to an American embassy and they made us some passports the next day and sent us back to another country where we had a base. But it was, I thought it was over, and then it just got worse. Because collectively, we probably lost like $30,000 worth of equipment. Not even including like our personal stuff, laptops and phones. But it was an experience that I'll definitely never forget. And it's hard to believe. Like, I'll tell people this story. They're like, no, dude, that never happened. But it did. I've actually got police reports and everything. And that's it. Thank you.